Joe Kwan, I play cello.
I'm Scott Avett. I play the banjo and guitar and sing.
I'm Seth Avett. I play guitar, sing, piano.
I'm Bob Crawford. I play bass and sing.
The fact that we're playing here for the fourth time goes along with the fact that we're broadcasting at home tonight in the way that the nerves dull down and you get to focus on what you're doing as you play these historical places. When you go to a place like Radio City in New York City, or the Fillmore in San Francisco, Red Rocks, it's always kind of nerve-wracking the first time you go. The more you play, the more it becomes home. And you feel much more at home and at ease, and you're able to, like I said, focus on the shows and relax and enjoy. So it becomes a broader home for us, these stages across the country. And, it's very exciting to see these big historical stages become home-like, and then to extend that to our physical home of North Carolina is just a great opportunity to share that grand comfort, I guess you might look at it as.
Yeah, and the technology is allowing us to you know, we can't be there, but we would love to be there, and the technology gives us a way to kind of be there, you know, so we'll take whatever we can get.
So when you guys are playing on stage tonight, will that be at all in kind of the back of your minds that those people that
The first memory or even acknowledgement of Red Rocks was the U2 concert that, you know, as children you saw, or we saw blips of that and had the cassette tape listening to it, and it was really, really great, really charged, a really awesome time, an awesome moment. So that was the first, that kind of branded that in our minds as Red Rocks, as this thing. I never really understood what it was until we started getting more serious in this business. I don't think I really understood Red Rocks was an actual venue, or if it was a place.
Yeah,
or
it was like to me it was just a mystical name.
Right.
Like I had no idea that it actually was a venue. You know?
Yeah, I thought maybe it was a political term, like some type of, I don't know. I didn't really know what it was, but I guess that goes along with being from out in the middle of nowhere in North Carolina.
Yeah, that name has like a mystical kind of I don't know, aura around it, and the venue in reality is, you know, it pretty much lives up to that. I mean, you walk out on the stage and you're looking at a landscape that you're just not used to looking at. You know, normally you walk out on stage and what you see is, you know, glowing EXIT in the back of a room. So to see this enormous, you know, these jutting rocks, it's a beautiful place to be. It's a beautiful place to perform, but it's very deserving of its mystical and magical reputation.
Yeah, the first time we played here was the Monolith thing. Is that right? And did get a chance to play and then hang around and watch Band of Horses, which are friends of ours, and we shared. I guess we're all from the same region. We all just came from overseas with them at a festival, so we're all close and know each other well.
That's a good memory.
That was really an amazing show from them. It was awesome watching them.
Did you ever see the Dead?
Never saw the Dead here, but being here, I can't help but think about all the legendary Grateful Dead concerts, and always being, you know, young and hearing about the Dead at Red Rocks, and
It's hard to separate the two. You hear Red Rocks, you normally hear about Dead shows here.
I read a quote from Phil Lesh in his autobiography yesterday, and he was saying that, talking about playing Red Rocks in '86, and you're playing up to the history. When you play Red Rocks, you got to play up to the history, and you can't forget that. I mean, you just stand on that stage and you cannot help but realize, you know, the blessing of being here and playing. So I'll be thinking about that tonight for sure.
Actually, having in our minds all the legendary acts that have played here before, those will be all the reasons for all the mistakes that we make tonight.
Yeah. You know what's really interesting? If you're backstage here, they have every year in every act that ever played here, and Igor Stravinsky played here. And to think that you know, we're lucky to be able to play venues around the country where the Beatles played, or Springsteen played, or the Dead played, and that's amazing. But to play where Igor Stravinsky, you know, played, that's unreal. How many places in the country, you know, can you say that are like that?
Well, we're the two of us grew up in Concord. Bob grew up in New Jersey, and Joe grew up in High Point, which is more central Piedmont, North Carolina. We were western Piedmont, North Carolina, and Piedmont is the central region. But for Seth and I, we were talking about it yesterday, or actually today. Our father played music and talked about music and sang songs and had written songs and was in a band. And we grew up just feeling like, just like a dad drives a pickup truck. We just figured all dads drove pickup trucks. All dads came home dirty from welding. All dads played songs to us. Or all dads played songs to their kids, and it was normal. So for us, it was all dads played songs to us. To just us. Like, come play us a song, Dad. Or your father? Sing me a song.
Sing me a song.
But that was just so normal in our house that it was just part of the fabric of it. So we just carried that on, not really thinking much about it. It wasn't really one specific point where we decided, okay, this is what we're going to do. We just stumbled along, letting it be part of our life all along. And I don't think to this point, any four of us could say, well, we always want to play music, but none of us have ever said, oh, this is what I'm doing, that's it. You know, it's just, organically it became that. And it's that today, and you suppose and hope it'll be that tomorrow, but you can't be so sure. So, but right now, this is what it is, and it's terrific. It feels very natural and right.
For me, I'm 4 years younger than Scott, so as far as I can remember, as far back as I can remember, Scott's always been an entertainer. Like, that seemed to come first for Scott. He just would put on a show, you know, always, my whole life, you know. So it's only natural that would be a little bit of John Lewis there. That's only natural that would be part of his journey. But yeah, we always loved music, so it makes sense that those things would come together.
It started in 2001, where I was teaching banjo, and
why are you laughing over there? What's so funny about that?
Let's see, I was learning banjo and teaching.
It's because Scott would teach a lesson, and then he'd say to the student, well, did you learn anything? And the kid would say, yeah, I learned a little something. He'd be like, acting! Acting!
I remember one time a guy came in to take lessons, and I showed him how to play a song, and then he played the same song better a different way, and I was like, oh, okay, so you probably need to go get another teacher. But anyway, that's beside the point. At the time, Bob was teaching jazz guitar.
And let me say, he's trying like mad to stay one step ahead of my students. Because I had many students that were like, I would teach bass, and the kid would come in and play like Jaco Pastorius, and I'm like, I got nothing. I got nothing for you, man.
We're total hacks. And Seth and I had been in rock bands throughout. We always were, and we were in one together, and we were starting to feel this need to strip things down. Things had gotten, they were imploding upon themselves. They'd gotten too busy, too heavy. The load was too much with people and with gear and with volume. It just blown up, and it was just like one scream after the next, which we loved, but we turned to the street sort of and took just two instruments and kind of leaned more on songwriting than we did on sounds and noise. And we started feeling a new challenge of like, okay, you got no distortion to hide behind. There's no crowd to go push your way into or jump into or make a distraction. You got to write a good song that delivers, that people can relate to or understand. And we were, that was very difficult. We're like, wow, and so we're on the street. I'd started an interest in banjo. Seth had started, Seth had always been playing the acoustic guitar. So we started playing old-time songs, writing a little bit, seeing how they matched up together, trying to fit in our songs into old-time sequences to see if they stood up. and if they didn't, we try to improve them, and we just play the streets. So we were always projecting and throwing our energy, and usually in front of the same crowds that we were playing the heavier rock stuff. As Seth and I were doing that, we started feeling this need for a bass player. We were like, we don't have any bottom end, and as we want to go into places and play, we need that bottom end. And that's when Bob came along. We were both teaching, and Seth and I had Bob come. And then for the next 6 years, the three of us traveled in vans, pickup trucks, played sports bars, Irish pubs, coffee shops, churches, campsites, clubs, bars, restaurants, barbecues, buffets, whatever came our way, we played.
Propane conventions.
Propane conventions.
So that takes us basically from the first recording we made in 2001 or 2000, the 6-song little demo, up through Emotionalism.
Yeah.
Which is 2007.
Yeah. And Bob had hired Joe on in a side project that he was doing.
You're hired by like not paying anything.
Right. And by hired we mean not paying.
Clearly temporary. Clearly temping.
Still temporary.
I try to make that clear every day.
Joe's a 4-year intern at this point.
Still not paying.
He recorded with us, and we asked him to leave, and Bob said, "Guys, let's keep him, please." Said, "All right, we'll keep him on for a little bit." And so he's still with us. Yeah. We've grown to 9 guys, 4 crew and 5 band members, and we just travel around and do our thing.
Since we don't have that feeling like, wow, we're playing Red Rocks, that's the evidence. You know, that's 10 years of show ups, thousands of shows, like literally thousands of shows. So we've done quite a bit of legwork, I guess you could call it, to where in this scenario we're very excited, and very aware of the blessing and the fortune, that we've been handed to be here. But we do feel prepared, we do feel excited, like in a positive way, not like in a shaky, nervous way. Like, this is going to be a great night. We're going to be able to play Red Rocks, play our own show, and we're going to be able to share our songs with our hometown crowd. And it's just, it's just really exciting.
Yeah, we were brought up, like I said, our father was a welder, and it was just kind of mathematics. You do the work, and there's a return for that. That's kind of just how that blue-collar work ethic approach was. If you were handed anything, it's kind of a fraud. And I think like Seth said, our comfort level, I think we'd feel like frauds if somebody's, one year we were in Red Rocks with 9,000 people.
And the year before that we were playing on sidewalk.
We feel like we've done the work, and we can go in and feel confident with conviction and do our thing. So I just had to say that.
Okay.
Well, Rick came to us based on Emotionalism. He had gotten word about Emotionalism. Rick loves to discover new music. He loves it. He's just always looking for something that's awesome, a new band, a new song, an old band. So he came to us through a mutual friend, I suppose, and had us to his house, and we started talking about music. And it wasn't so much about, hey, what can we do? He really just invited us as guests, as he does quite a bit with a lot of people he doesn't work with. He loves to talk about music, and he loves to visit. He's very sweet. He's very welcoming and neighborly, and friendship-oriented, relationship-oriented. And we all just kind of left it as we should work together if we could. If not, we should speak when we can and get to know each other. And from there, we just kept working. I'll let Seth take that from there for as far as what it's like to work with him.
Yeah, I mean, that's just a prime example of an experience that without the years leading up to it would have been jarring and I think hard to digest or hard to process because of Rick's reputation and because of his name being so large and so looming in the history of over the past 20 years of music. We're all very aware of his work, and we're very appreciative of his work and have been inspired quite a bit by the range of work he's done with different types of music, different types of bands. So it was extremely helpful for us that we already had about 8 years of playing music, recording music before we stepped into his house and sat down to talk about where we were and where we wanted to go and all that. So being in the studio with him was great on a lot of levels. Perhaps the greatest level was just him as audience. Like he's just great audience. He's very calm in the studio, very helpful. He'll make suggestions, but not heavy-handed in any way. He loves to be there. He loves to listen to music. He loves to bring up ideas and take the time to hash them out and find out if they're good or not. And he'll be the first to tell you when he comes up with an idea. We were talking about this yesterday. He'll say, maybe we should try accordion on this. But before he'll preface that by saying, okay, I got an idea, and this maybe is a terrible idea. Like he doesn't think that he's got some golden touch where everything's going to be great that he's involved in. He just loves the process. He loves helping out and making great records. So being in the studio for I Am Loving You felt, and sometimes it felt like it was painful because we were growing and we could feel that we were growing. And after you run a song for a couple hours, it starts getting painful. You're sick of it. But during that process, you do discover a lot about the song that you wouldn't have otherwise. So it was a great experience on a lot of levels. But it'll certainly be in our journey. It will certainly be before and after working with Rick. I think that will be very, very noticeable, very obvious our whole lives as a milestone. But one of the things we learned while we were in the studio with Rick is that and this is something that we've been learning all along, is that the song is never finished. Even now, the songs in I Am Loving You aren't finished. They have a life of their own. The record I Am Loving You is a portrait of what those songs were during that time, and they continue to change. And the question is, how can we get the greatest example of this song where it is right now? So yeah, we've written the songs, but they weren't as finished as we thought they were.
Do you find yourselves testing out a lot of songs, before you put it on an album at your live shows and just kind of feeling it out? Or?
It kind of comes and goes.
Yeah, it used to be 100%. We worked the whole album for a year, pretty much in front of a crowd, and the songs would kind of change. And they get in the studio, they change again a little bit. Nowadays, we're trying to hold songs back, so someone will get the album and they get all this new material. But it's not fair to the songs to completely do that, because you really need to get them in front of people. That's where you learn to play them, a lot of ways. So we do a lot of sound check rehearsals, and even if we're not going to play a song live, we'll still play it in sound check a lot to get a feel for it. What I've noticed is the songs that we don't road test before we record them, or while we're recording, they tend to, after the album comes out, they don't get as much play. We need to consciously go back and say, we need to work on the song. We need to learn how to play the song. So it varies.
We will play songs will be on the next record tonight. We've been working on the record since January of this month, but we've been working on the record for years actually. But the songs were determined that we're going to be recorded in January this year. We've been working since then in North Carolina on the recording with Rick, back and forth. And the record is 2/3 done. We've recorded, instead of recording, taking a large number of demos and then narrowing it down and carving those songs, or refining just those songs. We're actually refining all of them, and then we're going to edit out the sequences, what we like and what we don't. And we are testing at least 1/3 of the songs. And some of the songs are very old and have come and gone as well, and have become new again. So they're less like that frozen dinner and more like that fresh sort of produce. They're getting reworked, and they kind of come to life. Like Bob said, when we play them live, they do live much better. They do breathe and they do change much better, and they stay a little more energized. But the new record, we're very excited about it. There's a lot of songs to pick from. There's a lot of dynamic and a lot of change and movement within the group of songs. But it'll be an appropriate step from I Am Loving You as well. It makes sense to us, and Rick and all of us in the Avett Brothers are very excited about it.
Since the beginning, we haven't done a lot of compartmentalize labor. We haven't, you know, it hasn't been like, you know, the Northwest tour, you know, for these amount of weeks or anything like that. For us, the shows are always happening and the recordings are always happening. So that, I mean, there's really, like, it's never really in our minds that we're actually taking like an extended break.
One of the scariest things is when you ask somebody, so one of our friends, like another artist who's like working on a record, and they say, well, when's that next record coming? Oh, well, I'm in the studio writing for it right now, and I'm thinking, how stressful, because there is no writing period for us. It's always writing, and it has to be, because you can't really go get it. It has to come to you and through you, and so you have to always be available for it. And it's up to you. If you're not available for it, then you shut yourself down and you miss that opportunity.
Yeah, but if you're only,
it's great to somebody or not, but that's the biggest agreement we have with Rick and Columbia, is that we let the art lead, and everything else will follow and be appropriate and right.
You know, there's only so many hours in the day, and there's only so much strength in you. I mean, when the ideas come, we try to be available to them. You wake up 3 o'clock in the morning with a melody in your head. You know, if you got it in you, you try to grab a recorder and put it down. We all keep sketchbooks with us. We all keep notebooks. We all keep little various handheld recorders with us all the time. But our sense of urgency with that has lessened some. It's not like you have the idea the next day. It's like, all right, everybody crowd around me. I've got an idea. Let's do it. You know, it's not like that. We try to let it be a little more natural, and not to make claims, but we have so many ideas. I mean, there's just so many. It's really not even up to us which ones become an Avett Brothers song. We just sort of just try to make it available and see which ones click and which ones don't, and just try not to force it. That's been quite a learning process.
And the urgency too has had to wane, because we've learned traveling together as we each have made mistakes, and had to pick each other back up or help lay each other down or whatever it is, taking care of each other and family, friends, brothers together. It's kind of confusing when there's something that's so special as far as what we do for bigger groups of people, or in an effort for that, versus helping your brother. It's kind of confusing when helping your brother it's always first, and it's kind of threatening to this thing that seems so big, and I was born to write and I was born to make art. Right. Oh, my brother needs something. I got a melody in my head. That's just too bad. The melody's got to go, and you got to help your family and your friends. And that's threatening to that big thing that you've kind of devoted yourself to. But as we grow and we've gotten older, we start realizing there's no prize really. You know, there's no prize for this. If we just let the appropriate ones rise to the top naturally, nobody's getting. I can speak for myself that early in this journey that we're on, you know, I saw the whole sequence of events, touring and recording. I saw it as this thing that we were grabbing up, like, okay, if we do this, then we can do this, and we can do that, and then we can do this. And the more I did it, and you stumble and you realize, or you get to a certain milestone and you're like, well, where's the feeling of fulfillment that I was thinking of? It wasn't there. And then you start thinking, well, maybe I'm going the wrong way here with my needs or my ambitions and my motivation. So that, with us, that's what we've learned a lot by traveling, more so those kind of things than how to write a song, because the songs kind of write themselves in a weird way.
Red Rocks. We're looking forward to Red Rock. No, and that, again, like, you know, I hate to give such vague answers, but we attempt to be, you know, aware of the moment, to be in the moment of where we are and what we're doing. So, you know, it would be wildly inappropriate and wildly unfair to put more emphasis on Red Rocks than you know, the Boulder Theater last night, you know, or the show that we're going to be playing in Salt Lake City in 2 days. You know, like that night when we're there, that's what's important. We want to bring, you know, that goodness that we can bring that night. So certainly, you know, some might stand out for different reasons, but in my mind right now, you know, there's not one that comes up that makes me think it's, you know.
We can only really think that we're certainly going to make it to tonight anyway.
That's right.
There's really no guarantee of any others. There's barely a guarantee of that one, but we'll take that one.
And again, just in this process of learning and going through these experiences, you learn more and more that the more emphasis you put on something, the more you, in your mind, you write a story for it. And then if the story doesn't go as you had planned, then you're disappointed. You know, so we try not to do that as well. You know, we try not to say, oh, this night's going to be incredible because 5,000 people are going to be there, and because of this reason and that reason, because you have no idea. You know, like it's all of those factors, all those elements are completely out of our control. So we just try to make the most of every night.
And that even goes to walking out on stage. You know,
Right.
it's best, and we've all done what Seth just said. But you know, I think we've learned you got to walk out on stage as a blank slate, and just whatever's going to happen now is going to happen now. Because if you try to force even a song, or the way you play something, or the way you sing something, for me it normally
That's right.
crumbles.
That's right. And if on those first few moments you trip over some cables and fall flat on your face in front of 1,000 people, it's a lot easier when you're a blank slate than when in your mind you've already put yourself into a rock legend, you know. But then you're just gonna stay on the ground. Just might as well just go ahead and just give up right then. I did not miss my hair. It's a lot easier to give things away when you know they're going towards a good
You
cause.
should have seen him blow dry on that for hours. Every morning he was like,
Actually, I wouldn't
leopard
use
skin robe on.
I wouldn't use a blow dryer. I would only go out and let the majestic wind of the day blow dry my hair.
Blow your robe open.
And I would just stand up there, and I would find either a mountaintop, if I wasn't near the mountains, I'd find something I could get up on top of and just stand out like this.
Joe's shoulders.
But to answer the question, Wigs for Kids is an organization that supplies natural, wigs made of human hair for children that have had hair loss due to alopecia, cancer, burn victims, and something that's so obviously good, you just can't really question it. So a close friend of ours, Mike Byer, who's with Cracker Farm Photography out of New York City, he had long hair as well, and we went in together and cut our hair, made a video out of it. He did a stop motion animation film of it, and put it on YouTube, and hopefully, someone's inspired by it. I know some folks have already been inspired to do it because of the video. And it was exciting, and yeah, cutting the hair off. It's like, who cares? It's just so when it's going somewhere so obviously good, you just can't question.
Hello everybody in Concord, North Carolina, at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. We're here at Red Rocks. We thank you so much for coming to this drive-in experience. We're here at a place where lots of histories happen, and you are too.
So thank you.
Yes, thank you. And we look forward to coming home and seeing you again.
Be careful on your drives.
We'll see you down the road.
See you soon.